Hello and welcome to the Life of a Kung Fu Master, episode 4. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about meditation. It's something I got into years and years ago. When I was about 18, to be fair. Just before 18, I was just like, listening to a lot of Bruce Lee stuff. And there's a lot of links between meditation and martial arts, and that's why I got into it, not to be like a tree hugger and things like that. I've always found it hard, quite difficult to talk about meditation, if I'm honest. Don't forget, this is unscripted, and I'm just rolling with it. Because a lot of people, definitely blokes and things like that, they think it's sort of way out there, a bit airy-fairy and things like that. And the amount of excuses that I hear for people not meditating, I'm not going to go into all the benefits from it really, because there's so much research out there which is done on monks and all sorts of people, and guinea pigs and things like that. Not literally proper guinea pigs, but there's a lot of research out there that tells you about the facts and how good it is for you. So meditation, basically, I got into it when I was about 18. I've been studying it since then, and my practice has been shite. I'm a Kung Fu master. Okay, I should be sat on the top of a hill or mountain meditating for hours on end. Fair play. I know there's some people, can't think of their names offhand, but will meditate for about 6 hours in the morning. They get up at like 4 in the morning and meditate for that long. I'm not one of them people, but I do try my best, and that's one reason why it's called practice. Okay, part of this stuff that I'm putting out here, guys, is just we're all on the same sort of path. Okay, there's not many people out there that is perfect. As I said before, my instructor saying this: we can't do perfect, and it's so true. Okay, what happens is with a lot of people is that they start stuff, me included. They start stuff for a while, and it's going really well, and then when it's starting going well, they end it, and it finishes for a while until next time. One of my other instructors, Mr. Steve Rowe, will often talk about like learning self-defense when you need to, after you've had a fight and got into a bit of fisticuffs and things like that, and you needed it, is almost like learning to swim when you're drowning. And it's true. If we're meditating, if we're trying to get into meditation when things are tough, it's you should have done it way before then. Otherwise, you wouldn't experience that toughness and challenge, if you like. Of course, we get challenges in life all the time. Okay, but when you're meditating regularly, you handle things a lot better. One thing, again, going back to Mr. Steve Rowe, a lot of the stuff I'm talking about is regurgitating everything. I don't know if that's the right word, regurgitated. Everything that people have talked about anyway. Okay, it's just stuff that I've passed on, and a little bit of my own experiences as well, because I used to put people on a pedestal, if you like. People that I've trained with are very good. Definitely my Silat instructor, I've been meditating for about 30 years, and he's got a really good practice. It's what we call inappropriate comparisons. I'm not going to compare myself to him. I've got a different lifestyle. My brain probably is totally different to his. So it's going back and being nice to yourself. One thing I hear people often talk about meditation is that it's not for me, or I can't do it. I just can't sit still for long enough. One of my sayings is that there is no such thing as a bad practice, a bad meditation practice, or a bad meditation session. Even if you think, and this is with myself as well, this is why I need it more than anything. I can sit in meditation for 20 minutes, and sometimes it feels like I haven't cleared my thoughts at all. They're just running wild. I still benefit from it. One reason why I'm talking about this today is that I'm just checking the time because I don't want to waffle on for too long. Is because I've just started back meditating again. Okay, this year, to be fair, has been mental for me with my I've had ill health, lots of stress with the business, things like that. And I haven't done much meditation this year, if I'm honest. We do parts of it in the classes and things like that. So I'm still sort of looking at it and studying it and doing a little bit of it, if you like. But there's lots of buts here and I was once told every sentence that starts with but is bullshit. And it's true, you're making excuses, so I try not to say it. Why haven't I meditated this year, which would have been make my life so much easier? I don't know. But I've started back to it, and just in the last 2 days, today I missed a session. So I'm going to meditate in a minute. The last 2 days I've meditated, and that's it. Just for the last 2 days, I've passed my practice back to it, and I've noticed a massive difference in me handling the stress. Okay, the last couple of weeks here have been quite manic for myself, and that with just for business side things, trying to do too much on, and just in 2 days I've noticed a big difference. So, and it's crazy. If you're anything like me, you've got self-sabotaging behaviors, if you like. Okay, and that's what we do when things start getting good. Our subconscious doesn't like it. Okay, so it makes us want to feel safe where we're used to, which is all the shit and all the trouble and all the stress that comes in. So if you can get a practice in, okay, you will notice difference. But just be aware when things start getting good, that's when you might decide that, okay, it's okay, I don't need to meditate today. And then you're back to square one. That's the story of my life, and that's what I'm trying to work on. The essence, Kung Fu actually means hard work or skill required through hard work. But the art of being a martial artist, I say this in Kung Fu, but it's martial arts as well, really, is self-mastery. Self-mastery of oneself. And that's our thoughts and just our discipline, how we handle ourselves outside of the dojo or kroon or whatever you want to call it, where we train. So yeah, and that's where I'm at. I always say, when you get your black belt, you've just learned the basics. Now the hard work starts. I've just had a few people that have gone through the black belts, and that's what the ones that have passed. And we can't say too much now, just in case they watch the video. Yeah, we'll have to learn now that it's a different game if you want to improve and things like that. And it is about self-mastery of life. Whether I'll keep saying you can't do perfect, can you achieve self-mastery? No, but it's the practice, and it's what we're going for. If we don't go for it, you're never going to improve. Okay, you aim for the moon and reach aim for the stars and reach the moon. That's the same sort of thing. Okay, so as I said, I started off with meditation at 18, and I did a course. I spent £180 on it, and this was going back in the 80s, which is a lot of money then. On a course on TM, Transcendental Meditation. I recently spoke to a few other people who've done the same sort of thing, got into it. It does cost. I don't see why it needs to cost that much money. It is a bit of a franchise, to be fair. It's the TM is what the Beatles started doing in the 60s and things like that. So it's been going a long time. I know what it is. You get given a secret word which you're not supposed to say to everybody else. Another thing in my head, I can't understand that. There might be reasons behind it, but to me, it sounds a bit like bullshit. But you get given this word and you use it as a mantra. Now, a mantra is something that we work on that gives you a focal point. Okay, because like people say meditation, you're supposed to get rid of your thoughts, and I hate that expression. Getting rid of your thoughts is impossible, really. Well, it's not impossible, but you can't really stop your thoughts coming into your head. When you get good at meditation, you get less thoughts. Okay, and if you have mastered it, or if you are like Delhi Mela or whatever his name is, you might have a good go at doing an hour, and you might not get any thoughts. Buddhist monks and things like that, they might be brilliant at this. They probably are, but I'm not. I'm not a Buddhist monk. Okay, I've got to lead a normal life. I work quite often 12-hour days, and I've got to try and find time to meditate in that. This is why I like mindfulness meditation, which I'll get onto in a little while. So yes, so it's fitting it into your life. Okay, I go to bed late. I don't get from work normally till about 10 o'clock at night. By the time we've eaten, chilled out a little bit, it's normally 12 o'clock, sometimes like later than that before I go to bed. So I'm not going to be getting up at 5 in the morning to do 4 hours of meditation or 20 minutes or so. It's a slightly exaggeration, that was. But some people do it for that long. So I will try and do meditation when I can, okay, which is normally to me, it's much easier. If I don't do it in the morning, they say do it in the morning and night time if you read the books. If I don't do it in the morning, then quite often I forget. Well, I don't forget. I just get busy with everyday life, things like that. I understand if you've got kids, things like that. When do you fit it in? You don't have to fit it in the morning. You get up half an hour before the kids. If you're disciplined and things like that, there's always ways. And it is, again, we make room for things that we prioritise. And for some reason, the well-being side of things and the self-healing, looking after yourself, is often at the bottom of the priority list. Yeah, I try to make it a priority in my life. Okay, what I'm not good at, being honest, and that and things like that, is making time for the people in my life that I love, because I'm so obsessed with myself. I say that as awareness, if you like. Okay, I'm self-obsessed with myself, yes, but I'm aware that I am like that, and I'm really working on things. Okay, so and that's me. That's my faults. Okay, I am a master at kung fu or kickboxing, then, if you want. But I don't feel like a master at all, and this is what we're trying to work on. You've got to learn to be a black belt. You've got to learn to be a master. If you suddenly become a boss and get promoted, you've got to learn to be that boss. Same with everything. So that's TM meditation. What I started with. I also did a 6 weeks course. One to one it was, because I couldn't make the group settings. Normally you do it in the group for mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation came out. Well, it became popular probably in the 90s, late 90s, I imagine. But it's been around for ages. And again, I'm not really remembering names, but you can look it up, whoever invented that. And it fits in with everyday life. So even so, I make an excuse that if I'm not meditating, it's not really an excuse as such. If I'm not meditating, I can be mindful throughout the day and still have mindfulness practices, which is a great thing as well. Just the meditation along with it would really boost things. So I make an excuse sometimes that I haven't meditated, but I'm being mindful in the day. Tai Chi is being mindful. Martial arts is being mindful. Just trying to be mindful of my body and things like that. It still helps, but I can swear by it that meditation, if you get a good practice, your life will change. When it starts to change, that's when you've got to look and be aware, because that's when you'll stop doing it, because you don't want the good stuff coming into your life a lot of the time, if you're like me. Okay, so yeah, you might not be, but if you can relate to this, please comment and things like that. And don't forget, before you go on, subscribe to my channel, please, guys. Okay, I only want subscribers that are interested in this sort of thing. They just subscribe to it. If you just come across this video and thought, that's a good video, and then never come back to me. Okay, because I want the right tribe. I want the right community out there, guys. I want the people that want to work on stuff and aren't perfect. If you're perfect, then scroll on or move on. So, mindfulness meditation is all about the breath, and that's why this is why it's such a good thing, really, because the breath is always with us. We're always breathing, unless you're dead, which hopefully you're not. Otherwise, you won't be listening to this video. The breath's always with us. It's great to teach the kids as well, and adults in the martial arts, for anxiety or for stress, fear, anything really. And one of my 3 golden rules I teach the kids is stand tall or sit tall or sit down, focus your mind, and deep breathing. I don't know if it's in that order, to be fair, but yeah, the deep breathing, a lot of people can't even breathe with your stomach, and again, don't worry about it if you can. But ideally, as we breathe in, our belly should be expanding, even your lower back should expand a little bit as well. Okay, so yeah, but if you can't do that, just work on it. Okay, I believe that I'm doing this quite a lot in the day, even when I'm not being mindful of it now. But most people, they can do it, they start to do it, but then it's bringing it into everyday life. I've been working at this for years and years, and maybe I sometimes think maybe I don't do that when I'm not thinking about it. It's just because I'm thinking, am I breathing correctly? And I start thinking, breathing into belly. I don't know. But anyway, I believe I'm quite mindful in that and do it quite well. So that's basically mindfulness. And you use your breath as a mantra. So you're looking at thoughts coming through your head, or becoming aware of what you're thinking about. And you just come back to your breathing, or another mantra if you've got another mantra. There's loads of different ways of meditating, guys. Loads. Don't get too het up with all the books and saying you have to do it this way. It's in an ideal world, yes, it helps if you do it 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night time, like they all say to do, but do the best you can. Don't beat yourself up. It's about being nice to yourself as well. So when you've got that breathing and you're becoming aware of your breathing, I don't like the word thinking because it puts you up here, see, so I'm trying to change it. And then all of a sudden you realise you're on loads of different thoughts and they're wandering all around the place. And you just come back to your breathing, and sometimes that could be like almost 20 minutes. I might have three sections. If I do it for 20 minutes, I might have about 3 parts where I realise, I'm thinking, and let's come back to breathing. So most of the time I've been way on a tangent. Doesn't matter. It still benefits you. The other thing, myths I want to stop people thinking about, is you do not have to be sat down with your legs around your neck and in the locust position. Okay, definitely, as I've got really dodgy hips, my hips playing up. I'm going to probably go to doctors eventually soon, when the time's right, because I need a bit of a gap to try and see how it's looking now, because I checked about 4 years ago, and it was mild to moderate arthritis then, so, and it's even worse now. So I will get it checked over. So yes, so I will not sit down. I love sitting on the floor cross-legged, definitely on a cushion or meditation stool or something like that. But I can only do it probably for about a minute or two before I have to extend my legs out. If you're in an uncomfortable position and that's all you can be focused on, oh, I'm stiff here, you're defeating the object of meditation, guys. Okay, the standing tall, sitting tall is really important, really. Okay, just try and make sure your back's straight. There's lots of reasons for that. One reason is that definitely if you're tired, you will fall asleep. Okay, and you're more relaxed. People say you meditate to chill. Not quite. I don't believe that. Okay, calm your mind. It does calm your mind, but it can be a bit frustrating if you want. I used to meditate, and my Tai Chi instructor put me onto this way of thinking, and I used to meditate because it's my happy place. It doesn't have to be your happy place. Okay, that's a bit more of my going into your comfort zone and just doing it to be happy, which is great. But the idea really is to stir up things and get ideas, and it doesn't necessarily have to make you happy. You might have some really crap thoughts coming into your head. When you sat up tall, okay, it's gonna, when it supplies more oxygen, when you start breathing deep, your lungs are better going, your airways are better going down to your lungs and things like your diaphragm, rather than crunched up like this. Okay, and that's going to supply, when you're breathing properly, it's going to supply more oxygen to your brain, and that's going to allow you to focus better. Okay, and focusing maybe is the wrong word as well, but you do have a focus point, which is your mantra, your breath. So yeah, and that's all there is to it, really. It's not as hard as it's done. Okay, when I sit down, okay, not as hard as it's done. I don't know if that makes sense. I like my feet firmly on the floor. Okay, these are things that I've picked up on books. Okay, if I was to sit like this, okay, if you see my feet are firmly flat on the floor now. Okay, my body's straight, and that's okay. Okay, it doesn't really, you don't have to do all the walls, and otherwise, people like me want to be perfect. Okay, and we want to wait to a perfect setting all the time, and you keep putting things off. I say people like me. This is just stuff that I've learned. What my characters is like, my personality is like. I am getting a lot better. I'm a lot better than what I was. I still relate it to myself because I've struggled with certain things. So if your feet nice rooted on the floor, hands. What do we do with the hands? Like this, like this, like this, like this. Doesn't matter. Okay. The idea is putting them on your lap. Okay, is that there's no tension. Okay, you don't want that tension, so you want to try and get rid of all your tension if you can. Okay, if I'm like this, I can feel them pulling a little bit. If I've got them up like this, there's tension in my shoulders, just on your lap like this. I like to do this. I like my thumbs together. It feels nice. Okay, now again, my Tai Chi instructor will tell you what each finger's for. We use this little finger, or this big finger, a lot in Silat, because it's got a lot of energy going through it. But all your fingers and thumbs have certain types of different energy. And I'm not that knowledgeable, and I don't care, to be fair. I might research it a little bit more when I've got time. But I do like this, and a lot of people sit like this, and it's supposed to like create a heart sort of thing. Okay, so with the meditation side of things, okay, just do it. And I literally have started off with just doing 2 minutes a day, and that's just being nice to myself, because it's almost like when I used to go running. I used to do quite a bit of running. At one point, I wouldn't set off to do a 5-mile run. I would set off just to go around the block, because again, in my head, okay, I'll procrastinate and I'll think, God, I don't want to do 5 miles today. And most of the time, if I start off, because it takes a while to warm up, that's when you're fit with running. Start off, and then when you start running and you start feeling good about yourself and you start thinking, oh, it's a good run, and you go further. Okay? Meditation is the same. Okay, so I used to start off with a little, if I hadn't done it for just like 2 minutes at a time, really, and just build on it every day, because 2 minutes isn't long. I remember when I first started, when I was about 16 to 18, a 20-minute session seemed like a lifetime. And I used to get so many aches and pains in my shoulders and things like that, because I was trying to do it properly, sat cross-legged and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, do it however length you want to do. Ideally, you want to build up 20 minutes, okay, because 20 minutes is a good time to sit in it. The longest I've ever done, I think, it's about 3 hours and things like that. And that was when I was researching a book. And that's amazing. For me to sit for 3 hours at a time, well, I did it once or twice, to be fair. It's just really good. Okay, but that's how much I've improved from doing it. So now, even if I haven't done it for ages, I will still sit for 20 minutes. Unless time is a bit tight, and I might just do it for like 11 or 15 minutes. The missus hates me doing it for something like 11 minutes or setting my timer or my alarm for 2 minutes past 6. It's got to be on the hour. So I just do it to wind up. So I'm not perfect. I try not to do that anymore because I don't like winding people up unless it's certain people that need it. Anyway, so that's basically meditation, guys. Okay, I urge you to try it. I really do, and just see what experience. I mean, I've done quite a few meditation challenges on my other YouTube channel, and that like meditate for 80 days, or I haven't quite done a year. And a lot, but if you look on YouTube, you'll see a lot of people who've done the same sort of challenges, and they talk through it and things like that. And the hardest thing about meditation is that it's people don't necessarily see the improvements in themselves so early. Okay, I've been really working on the mindfulness breath, even the breath as I'm breathing in through my nose, feel it going through my hairs and things like that, really. And I find that really helps me, to be fair. So you're being really aware of the body, okay, and that awareness is so good. The idea to when you're not having the thought process, okay, and you do get better at it when you don't have the thoughts and you're in that mantra for quite a while with that breath, okay. When you're in them types of moments, okay, that's when you get clarity, okay, and you'll get clarity throughout the day, and you'll get ideas and things like that, which you can't get when we're finding it, when we're trying to search it. That's the essence of meditation, to be fair, okay. And it's in them spouts of clarity that you're going to get good ideas come into your head. It's like, wow. It's almost like sometimes, I mean, I had a eureka moment when I was in Bristol once, okay, because I was in Bristol, I was away from my kids and things like that, and I went for a pint. This is only something small. I went for a pint, and I thought, right, I've got nothing keeping me here. My kids are in Hayford. Why don't I just change universities? So I was at university at the time. Why don't I change university to Bristol, and I could be right next to my kids? I know that's something small, but to me, it was like, wow, it's like you get. Some people say drinking a pint on their own and things like that is meditation. It is a form of meditation. It's when we're not searching for stuff that things will reappear. So there are other forms of meditation, fishing, for example, which I find is a really boring thing to do. And I'm not into fishing as it is. Poor little fishes getting pulled up, and they haven't got their brains, but they're still living creatures. And that's another thing. So yes, that's my spiel on meditation, to be fair. If you've got any questions, get in touch, comment please. I would just get rid of shitty comments. I won't bother responding to them as well, things like that, because see the point, I want to keep this community good, okay. And I know my views have dropped a lot, but I'm intending this week, it's Thursday already, and I haven't done a video since last weekend. I want to do 3 times a week, three videos a week. That's my intention, okay. But again, if I don't get that, because we've had short staff this week, I've been working busy. If I don't get that, then you don't get it. It takes a long time to upload videos, by the way. So yeah, so I'm not beating myself up. I'm just going to, at least if I do one a week, if I stop doing more than that, I'm not going to get many subscribers, things like that. So I do at least want to do once a week, but I'm going to try to go for 3. Aim for the stars, and you might hit the moon. Except the moon's massive. You shouldn't miss the moon.